Hello, everybody. Welcome back. As usual, I'm Andrew. With me is John. This time he's stuck at his workplace. Well, NVIDIA renders, so we're all trapped here.
Yes. What is that? I'm not trapped here with you. You're trapped here with me.
Exactly.
So Screams media encoder.
Exactly. Yeah, John can't spend quality time with his wife, so he's stuck here with me.
My true wife.
So on Wednesday, we did some more.
Sorry, you're my husband.
Yeah, there you go. On Wednesday, we did some more trial stuff, and it came out that Holmes wasn't actually shot. Or no, he was shot, but the bullet didn't actually go in him.
Yeah,
and that means that the bullet in the wall is actually a third bullet, which apparently shot Mr. Egbert Benedict, who I believe we have summoned to court now to testify, because the Telegraph juror works with him.
Yes.
So I guess that's what we're going to find out right now. 17th April, 12:41 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber.
On top.
Jake says, no conflicts of interest as usual.
Yes.
Exactly. Completely standard judicial procedure.
If only London had more than 30 people.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 of these people have already been on a jury with us.
What about why isn't the jester guy and the other dude that he was arguing with on the jury? Those are 2 people that we've met.
Yeah.
Who have not been involved in a case. And
just doesn't. I don't. Maybe I raised this point 30 hours ago, but doesn't the defense team get a chance to vet the jurors?
Both the prosecution and defense.
Yeah.
At least the United States. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway. Gina, how are you holding up? I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now.
Gina, are you alright? Why aren't you saying anything?
Jake says, there's no voir dire here, only justice. What's the point, eh? Why go to all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me?
What?
Well, you saw it, that picture. What picture?
You mean this. The photograph taken by Hurley's red-headed recorder. Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure.
It's hopeless. Anyone can see that's gonna think I did it, ain't they? Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court. Yes, Jake, John is at work waiting for a video to render. So, yes. We're having a special Friday...
in hell.
Yeah, clandestine stream. John assured me that the only people that are still in the building are the cleaning crew. So, yes. So no one will hear us.
There's no one that can speak English.
There you go, then we'll be able to report what happened. Surely you've got to have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent. Of course I can. I am completely capable of blocking out all evidence.
Yes.
Gina, why didn't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night.
Eh?
Bruno's clearly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still.
Oh, I thought she was, like, like she forgot what happened or something, but she's literally just doesn't want to tell us because she's too stubborn.
Yes.
Still.
We'd really like to hear it from you.
She's like, so I went there to kill him.
Yeah. And then I shot him in the back, you see?
Alright then. It was after we'd had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we all had a chat up in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember.
Oh, I just got a text that my pizza is on the way,
Nice.
so I might have to step out for a hot second.
Alright. Like, it's like they just departed the store, or they just pulled up?
I don't, like, I think they just departed the store, so.
Okay, yeah, just let me know when they...
Yeah.
When they get show up. After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped out and we went down the street to the... so I slipped out and went down the street to the 2-to-1. To Winterbeck's place. I had to know. If Iris' story was there or not, the Hound of the Baskervilles. I don't know what it's about or nothing. I tell you it's about the Hound. But if you ask me, there's something in it that Sholmes doesn't like. Something what he don't want people reading. So that's why he lied to Iris about sticking it in lug with Winterbeck for safekeeping. At least that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into Winterbeck's? I just had to know if it was there or not. I thought that her theory was that he sold it.
Yeah.
Because, like, this is his story, right? Like, that, like, this is what he's saying, is that there's something in it bad that he doesn't want to get out, right?
Yes.
Like, so it's like, yes, you were confirming what he's saying. I mean, I had no idea all of that was going to kick off, did I? I struck the lock and snuck inside. It was dark as you like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of wick. And that's when... What do you think you're doing? Ah! I nearly died, I did. And next thing I knew... I grabbed the gun off the cannon and was waving in the air like... I don't know what. Ah, you're the girl who was in here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery. I've given this guy a different voice every single time he's been on screen. The Mantle script. Have you got it here? Did Sholmes leave a load of papers with you? A story? I beg your pardon? The Hound of the something or other. If it's here, I want to see it. I'm sorry, young lady. But I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers. Alright, bet!
Yeah.
I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see if it's here. That's all. Oh, you want to see it, do you? I want to know if Sholmes really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go. Oh, very well then. We got Gary on the desk. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you? Got Gary on the camera. Jake says shoots gun in Brooklyn accent.
Hey.
Bang, bang. Thank you, Gary. So then the alcove unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was there, alright, the Mantle script. Sholmes weren't lying after all.
You did all that just to check for me, Janine?
Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of the shop. The Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes. What was that noise? Someone's breaking in. Dear me, is there some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about? I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry. I'd better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back? Oh, well, I'll come with you, and... Now don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances. And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked back out into the shop. I hung back in the storeroom, like you said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. Boy, if she told us this before, we had to spend like 2 episodes figuring it out. You know, would help out a little bit.
Oh wow! I mean, that would have been the game.
Yeah. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help. See, so I was just about to go out the storeroom myself when, bang, bang. Except the gun sounded more like a weird hybrid of a country and British accent.
Bang, I say.
Jake says, but think about all the pawnbrokery and stereoscopy that we learned about in the meantime. I heard a couple of shots go off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. 2. Oh, they shot each other. But then the angle of the calendar bullet doesn't make any sense. Whatever. And then there he was, right at me feet, lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door. So I slammed it, just shut it, and locked it quick as you like. Everybody to the dinosaur. Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Windibank might come for you? Yeah, so I went to grab the old cove's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Windibank was a goner. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden, kind of dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing. That must be when you passed out, Gina. If I hadn't done what I'd done, the old cove might still be alive. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did, but they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was if I kept telling lies, it'd make things even worse for me.
It'll be alright, Ginny, don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Bruno's about to put the real culprit to the mill.
That covert was there in the afternoon? That Eggert Benedict? I still remember how he looked at me, like I was nothing. He was there that night. We don't know his real name yet. But I'm convinced he's involved somehow. What if his real name is like Benedict Eggert? Like he just swapped his first and last name. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what?
You can leave it all in Bruno's capable hands now, Ginny. He's totally not an idiot.
Mr. Naruto. Yes? How come you trust me? I don't get it. We've already had this conversation like 3 times. It's because he's a lawyer. I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGilded, we told you a whole pack of lies.
They're here. I'll
Okay.
be back.
Right. Okay. And you got the bog trotter off with him, even though he was a killer. No, I could never forget that. Oh. I did what I thought was best at the time. But the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook for all you know. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial. You were? Yeah, happened twice. Before I left Japan, and also after I left Japan. I was accused of murder. As strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe it. I was sure that no one would believe it. It wasn't me who'd done it. Oh, Runo. But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me, and would never, ever die. My best friend. Ryunosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me and I'll do the rest. Believe in me who believes in you. I was so happy I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. But I was wrong. Point. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first. What are you saying? Hey, we got Iskia in the chat. Good to see you. I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down. Man, John's Pizza transaction has taken a while. Even though I'm a diver and a no-good liar. You're not like McGilded. I know that. Yeah, John's only had one line the entire show. Hey? Oh, damn it. That's right. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's right. That's right. You're our friend, Jenny. Not. It's not working. Iris. We know you better than you think. You've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust. Gary is squeezing himself into the corner between my table and the wall. I don't know why he's doing that. Yes. That's really all we need to know. Exactly. Mr. Naruto, I Sniffle, sniffle. Defendant Gina Estrada and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately. Yes, of course. Thank you. Been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is it at last, the final chapter, the final battle. Definitely for real. Oh, John's back. There we go. Wish me luck, Suzato-san, and I hope you're watching over me too, partner. What kind of pizza did you get?
Pepperoni, jalapeno, and onion.
Nice, nice. 17th April, 1:41 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Dun dun.
I hereby call this court into order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Van Zieks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness?
The subpoena was delivered to the communications station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem. So why did we come back? Why didn't we just wait?
I see. And let us turn our attention to Inspector Gregson's presence of the case heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bulletin report is a serious blunder, Inspector. Yes, I can only apologize, my lord. And although the defendant's chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom. It's a big mistake to cross Hurley and me, a very big mistake.
She waves a gunner at a court. My lord, the subpoena's witness has just arrived in the building.
Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay.
Mr. Edgar Benedict. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon, and certainly not like this.
Thank you for complying with the court's subpoena at such short notice, sir.
Oh, but of course, my lord. As an upstanding member of London society, it is my pleasure to oblige.
Now kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Ashley Graydon, Communications Officer.
Mr. Graydon and I both work at London's Central Communications Station. We're both Discord moderators.
Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about?
You are apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume.
Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at the pawnbrokers on Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question.
That is the accusation, indeed.
This is really beyond a joke, you know.
Very well, without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath.
Gladly, my lord, gladly.
We need to see him and Herlock get into a dance-off.
Oh my god.
The accusation.
Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. You see, they are as good as banks, if not better. But are you seriously just suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into a place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation. Even if certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some Scaramouche detectives' homebrew tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence.
You're checking for injuries, right? Like a bullet hole that goes all the way through?
No, you deny the accusation completely, do you?
I must say I am dismayed. For the highest court in the land to be swayed by this self-possessed detective's toy.
It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury's will is upheld.
Then it would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today.
Oh yeah. Nothing will go better than insulting these people who have like complete control over the system.
Well, but the thing is, like, by golly!
I mean, he's right, but like, it's
But like, they can't determine his innocence. He's not on trial.
Watch.
How long?
They'll try.
Yeah, then again. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long am I expected to be detained here?
And following the defense's cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established. You will be free to leave immediately.
Until we call you for jury duty tomorrow.
Oh my god. Good, then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation, at least.
Don't choke to death on your pizza.
Let us not hold up Mr. Gregson any longer than necessary. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
So we meet again, Mr. Eggert Benedict. Or is it Mr. Graydon?
My apologies, you are?
Wait, he can't be about to deny that he was there in the first place, right? Because,
Oh, yeah.
But the detective, like the inspector, directly to his left, saw him there when the whole fight over the disc went down. Like that was established in court already. We better not have to prove that he was there in the first place.
Well, we are playing an Ace Attorney game.
Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer. We have met.
If you say so, Ashley Graydon and Chanter. So,
Ah!
I trust we can conclude this quickly.
I'm not holding your flashy hat while we do. Yeah, apparently you are. Cross-examination. What if like what if the hat's like in our evidence now? It has like the proof in it. Oh, okay, no, that'd be
Oh my god.
hilarious. All right, so I guess we'll just press everything. I didn't see anything. Super obvious. Oh, I wanted to go back. Shit. Alright. That's all he's gonna say on the matter, is it?
What do you think, Runo?
I think he has no intention of telling us anything. He's well aware that the less he says, the less chance he has of giving himself away.
The complete opposite of earlier, then. He seems to think the more he says, the better.
I need to find a way of getting more information out of this man somehow. Compared to the bungling burglars beside him, he seems as innocent as a child.
Well, perhaps the Skulker brothers might be the key here.
Oh, could they be somehow? Yeah, we're gonna like press them on something and they'll freak out.
Yeah. Remember, if you don't prove the witness has some connection to the incident here, he'll be free to leave.
I know, I can't let that happen. Let's listen to those statements again and see if there's any way I can make one of them tell us more.
Hold it!
Yes, we even met in the very pawnbroker where the crime took place on the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a different name at the time. It was Mr. Eggert Benedict, I believe. Tell me, what made you... Is the witness is here to testify about events that took place that night? Oh. He is under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions. You can't be serious. He was already attempting to rob the store earlier.
Thank you, because I do not feel inclined to answer such an inappropriate question.
So he's going to be evasive, is he? In an effort not to give anything away? This could be tricky. You seen these two men before?
This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals.
Said by a man who introduced himself as Egbert Benedict.
I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me?
There's a young lawyer there in the black.
This is a farce. Whose idea was it to permit an outsider to work in a British court anyway?
I mean, fair point.
Well, needless to say.
We're not getting anything out of this.
Hold it!
Where were you at around 1 in the morning on the night in question, sir?
It's the past hour which I would normally retire.
See, he's like, he's not lying, right? He said that I have no intention of admitting to it, but he didn't say that I didn't do it. And he's not saying that I was asleep. He's saying this is past the time when I would normally be asleep, which is correct, but not actually.
He's doing a wonderful job of not perjuring himself,
Exactly,
while also
yeah.
not answering the question.
Yeah.
Certainly. I was not with the company these rapscallions.
Oh, that's more clear, I guess. Are you able to prove that?
Objection!
Listen carefully, my little Nipponese friend. Only the defense needs evidence. Everyone else can say whatever they want. For you appear to be under a gross misapprehension on this point. What do you mean? The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He has no obligation to prove his absence. If your accusation is that the witness was present at the scene, the obligation lies with you to prove your assertion. You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable questions to the witness. Silent victory wiggle. Thanks.
Hold it!
Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Sholm's chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such.
But I'm not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? How can you be sure the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants.
Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Sholm's chemical is able to differentiate between the...
Spare me the science lesson. Who is this Sholmes character anyway?
Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a great... well, a renowned detective. Also, you literally met him. like yesterday. So even you are unable to bring yourself to say great detective.
A great detective, you said? Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, are we?
Yeah, it's gonna be like, but boss, you shot him. Oh, I mean...
Excuse me!
You have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin?
About me?
No, the Mr. Skulkin next to you.
Right, I found it over here with this. How many times have I got to tell you?
Yes, I know, you're not Big Bruv Sulky. Nash, right? Yeah, Mr. Nash Skulkin. Hey, Corblimey, Governor! You what? Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind? One thought?
What, me?
Yeah.
Capable of thinking? I don't think so.
Would you care to share that thought with the court? Hey, me thoughts! I don't have none of them. It must have been him.
You what?
Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. You're not even testifying right now. Why are you even in the room? I don't know. What went through your mind when Mr. Grayson just spoke? Nothing. Honest God, nothing. I was just thinking. If he waves his arm around like that much more, it'll open up the wound again. That's all. We did it. What wound? He's a dumbass. Ray took the bullet, of course. It's only 2 days ago. They can't be healed up yet.
Oh, it'd be funny if, like, on his back, there's just, like, a big bullet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, you look behind him. His shirt's, like, torn open. There's just blood everywhere. Oh, my God. So I was, well, you know, I was worried for him, and, Oh, Else Bells! Mr. Grayson, did you hear that?
What?
Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm.
My lord.
Yes, Mr. Raiden?
I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly I should be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations.
We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. From the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or thereabouts. Perhaps you'd allow a court official to examine your arm, sir? The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand, as if in pain?
No, I refuse. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy. Damn, I was really hoping that there was going to be blood leaking out.
Yeah.
As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all of this. I've never had anything to do with this pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever.
Is he... Gregson was there! What the fuck?
I take offense to the insinuation that I was in any way involved.
You claim to have had nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery?
My lord, this is clearly bullshit. My defense would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony.
Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
Okay. So we can probably like one of these things one overcoat. This is what he picked up. Mr. Winterbank appears to have used the back of his photograph to write out a redemption ticket. It's written it very neatly, but still, it's ran out of paper, so he had to use anything he had to hand. Trying to know what's the front and what's the reverse side now. Oh, okay, I didn't necessarily say he was there. Is it just the disc?
Yeah, unfortunately we can't use Gregson's
Yeah.
testimony.
Objection.
There we go, that works. Alright. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon?
Why is it supposed to mean something?
This disc was, until the day of his murder, in pawn in Mr. Winterbank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try and take it from her. That somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon?
As I have reiterated numerous times now, why are you mistaken? That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life.
may have escaped your notice, but there's a small smear of blood on the disc. We already know the blood. Gregson was there! Ah! That's how Gregson got the disc in the first place.
Ah, yes, resulting from an abrasion of the thumb, perhaps.
We're going to find the scratch on his thumb. He's going to let us see that. That's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. The skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of that skirmish in the form of this smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch.
Gracious, indeed it must.
Mr. Graydon, submit your thumb into evidence. You refuse to allow a court officer to examine your arm before? Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with a smear of blood on this disc.
Oh, that's right, he's wearing gloves. Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you.
Oh, what is the meaning of this?
I'm still pissed off, Gregson. The writers forgot who was in that scene. So you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant?
Order! Well, Mr. Graydon.
It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take that disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse.
What are you trying to say?
It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of pawn?
What? That's not the point. The point is fucking there. It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident.
Thanks, Fanceeks.
Yeah. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now.
As you wish. Though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder.
Can we just play this disc? Can we please play it? What could possibly be on this disc?
The secrets.
Yeah.
There's a note on the disc saying, "For McGill did, but the honor belongs to me." The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterin on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to examine my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that night.
Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGill, did you say? The famous London philanthropist and little person? Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder?
Yes, my lord, the one in the sand.
Good Lord, Mr. Graydon. Are you saying that Miss McGill and yourself were acquainted? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yes, that's correct.
Order, well. I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGill himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windibanks.
It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him, isn't it?
In all likelihood, he's lying. So it appeared that afternoon at Windibanks in order to get his hands on McGill's disc for some reason.
Counsel, you will commence with your cross-examination, please.
the disc. I'll probably just press everything, but I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I forgot. So, this is for the small box, which I think was what was stolen on the night of the murder. This
That's
was
for the overcoat.
which it was in the pocket, wasn't it, or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll just press.
Hold it!
Do you care to explain how this belongs to you?
As you will observe, a communications officer such as myself commands a fine salary.
You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir.
So you see, I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse whilst on an app. Which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question.
And that was your coat?
Obviously, and in my haste, I clean forgot that the music box disc was in its pocket.
And yet there's a note on it that reads, "For McGilded."
I am a collector of rare and unusual music. I first met Mr. McGill at the Gentlemen's Club in the city, and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area.
So the disc in question?
It's a pre-production sample.
It's my mixtape.
I promised to let McGilded hear it.
But then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn.
Yes, exactly.
Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she?
No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury.
Oh dear. This is complicated, isn't it?
Let's leave it alone for the time being. What could go wrong?
Hold it!
So you're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag?
That's right, just by being mindful of danger when walking in the insalubrious areas her kind frequent.
Objection!
Miss Lestrade did no such thing.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Well, of course you would take that stance, but the girl's a regular offender.
You came to the pawnbrokery that day prepared with all the information you needed to identify the defendant. You were looking for her. That's what brought you to Windibanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGillen's disc.
Objection!
My learned friend is a veritable font of nonsense. Nonsense?
I can go with the prosecution.
Good folks.
Counsel, you refrain from conjecturing in this way, is that clear?
That's my only strategy. Something I can't do. Yes, my lord.
Oops. And then I will continue with my testimony for what possible use it can be.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to Windibanks before?
Only once for the purpose of pawning something, but like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments.
So when you noticed that the pickpocket had taken your ticket, you chased after her. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. I didn't notice at first, of course. Such is the art of the pick purse. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbrokery at once, in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place.
He can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this. Wait a minute, wasn't there a picture? So, I know we used the disc to prove he was there. Well, wasn't there a picture of him? And that was how the telegraph person knew he was
Yeah.
there?
But it wasn't entered into the court record.
Are you serious? I just remembered that. It's so, like, we had a picture of him being in the room. We just don't have it in our evidence. This is dumb. Oh, I think I didn't read that line. He can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this.
Hold it!
Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it?
That's right. This was the very man. Apparently, the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. McGilden as evidence.
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Inspector?
Well, what do you mean?
The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way.
No, it didn't. There's nothing, leave it alone.
Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilden's possessions?
I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine.
What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets?
Yes, exactly. You should know all about that.
Agnes McGilden, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life, yet he had a dark side too.
Where are you going with this, Van Zeeks?
I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they?
That's enough. Covers like me have duties to carry out that we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know.
Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector.
The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me,
How... Imagine the greasy mess it would happen if you tried to stuff a bunch of French fries in your pocket.
Oh my god. I don't even want to think about it.
What a nightmare. You've ruined your coat and the fries.
What have you done?
Gregson, you fool!
you're going to need Lord Strongheart's paw print first.
What's all this about? Yeah, this is definitely like Zeke's secret agenda.
Yeah.
It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zeeks here. Do they have a history together?
Well, it would appear that the inspector has reviewed all he has liberty to review. Mr. Graydon, let's return to your testimony.
Gladly, my lord.
Hold it!
Perhaps you'd seen something of value among the forfeited items?
No, not at all.
Oh. A valuer was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was common or garden bric-a-brac. In that case, it's clear. She broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilden's disc.
Have you not been listening, man? Even if I had wanted to recover the disc, You may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. It was no more in the shop that night than as I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break it.
So there was nothing of McGilden's left in this shop that night. Nothing this man might have been after. I wonder if that's really true.
Bruno, if you have some evidence.
Yeah, this is the one for the box, right? Although, like, because it was submitted at the same time, I think. Yeah, well, hold on. So it was an hour and a half earlier. Or the code. Because the girl ended up with the code.
Then let him have it. I'm dying to see that irritatingly assured expression of his crumble.
McGilden slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had deposited it at Windibanks. Then when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket.
There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying through his pearly white teeth.
Yeah, I think we must submit the ticket for the code because he didn't get the code. And his story is that it's his code. He doesn't actually care about the code. But
Yeah.
it would ruin his story. Okay. The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilden as well. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day.
But Grexy's been very strange about all this.
He's being a sussy baka. There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony.
Objection!
Yeah, we did it.
Ew.
This disc was deposited at Windibanks on Magnus McGilden's instructions. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Conjecture again! And in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbroker again that night.
Objection!
Sorry, my learned friend. That's not true. What? Mr. McGilden had another article on pawn at Windibanks, as his second pawnbroker's ticket proves. There were two articles belonging to Mr. McGilden in Windibanks pawnbrokery. The reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one, together with your two accomplices, the Skulkin brothers.
This is the second ticket, is it?
Sorry. What had the men deposited? The article description reads, one small box. Oh, so we presented the wrong ticket and it worked.
A rather vague description, it seems to me.
Are you suggesting I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box?
I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did. This is not the argument I was going to make at all, but okay.
This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article had been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft, except he wouldn't know what it is.
That's a good point.
Indeed. The witness makes a solid argument.
So that means that for some
reason, this graded fellow needs the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord.
Would you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Zeeks?
I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Winterbake's pawnbroker. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it. We collected every single small box in London. What?
Gracious!
Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please.
Yes, sir.
What prints?
These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras.
Oh, these red-headed recorders again.
As previously explained, using this plan of the shop layout. The victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Winterbank received his customers. The other was set to capture the shelves on which articles were placed for sale once forfeited.
According to the information on the ticket, Mr. McGilden's small box had been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident at 9 p.m. on 13th April, to be precise. Which means it could have been on the shelves of forfeited items at the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's at 11 p.m. on 15th April. The victim certainly had a very full shop at Woodmere. And then, here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident.
We're gonna have to do the cross-eyed thing.
No.
I see. So we have 2 pictures to compare.
He left the box behind, but he took whatever was in it.
Yeah.
It was like a note or another disc or something. I bet. So like we'll be able to tell that the box was moved, and we'll be like, aha.
Now, I must say that placing them side by side leaves me cold. Dear me, that's starting to make my headache. Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we considered theft as one possible motive for the case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life. Your men have already compared these 2 prints thoroughly, Inspector. Yes, sir. We counted every single item in each of these 2 photographic prints. And the Yard's conclusion is that exactly the same number were present in both.
Same number, but they didn't check like the position or anything. In other words, in other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbroker on the night in question. And my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy. Arg!
If only we had solved something like this 10 hours ago.
I don't believe it. If I could have just shown that he'd stolen McGill's pawned box. He's just jamming out in the court. I might have been able to break him down in less.
No? I've been thinking.
Oh, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
I wonder if these photographs are exactly the same.
What?
I tried doing it, but it just makes my head hurt really bad. Sorry, give me just 1 second.
So, counsel, in the light of the evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that, in fact, on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion?
I don't know. Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these two photographic prints somewhere? Oh no. Well, we can't. It won't even let me look at the. Oh, here you go. Okay. So I can't do the thing. I can't do the trick, but. So the cops only said that they counted the number of items. Oh, look. So, you can tell it's like really obvious in this. I don't know if you can see my mouse, John, but like in the bottom right square, the like round box is in a different part of the shelf.
Yeah, when I crossed my eyes, it was like the only thing that looked kind of funky.
Oh yeah. I wasn't sure at first, but there's a clear discrepancy between these two prints. What?
You must identify the location in question for the court counsel. Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy which you speak.
Hope it'll accept either one.
Take that!
Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them.
What?
When you view the two pictures stereoscopically, there's a very obvious highlight around the object in question. A single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box. It looks so goofy. Let me wait. Unbelievable. Oh my god.
By Jove, you're right. How extraordinary.
What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGilda's small box was indeed not stolen from Windibanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt. Somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves.
Are you suggesting the small box originally deposited by Mr. McGillen is in fact?
Yes, the very same small box I just identified in these photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What if it was? So a box was moved on this shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means quite simply that nothing has changed. That may be true, but... Alright, Gilda's box wasn't stolen then. The contents of the box. But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change things? It changes everything. I believe this changes everything about the case. How can that possibly be? The crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Windibanks as we speak.
Objection!
Such won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago can't possibly be relevant to this trial.
Then the court does not hold your objection, Lord Van Zeeks. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination.
We can't possibly establish a chain of custody. But
Yes.
they just stare at each other. It's like the hour it takes to go and get it.
We shall have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth.
To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Humph. Disappointing.
I beg your pardon, Lord Van Zeeks.
This is nothing but a smokescreen, a Nipponese speciality, it would seem, like a ninja smoke bomb. What are you trying to say? My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning. That this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGilded from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place.
Exactly.
It's just some information or something.
It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property.
If your lordship recalls, a Mr. McGilded perished 2 months ago, immediately after the conclusion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was the upstanding member of society his reputation implied, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defense.
The articles this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that just happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets, and a small bar.
Why? Like, didn't he say that it was his coat and that the disc was marked for McGilded because it was a gift intended for him? Now he's just admitting that it was McGilded's stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, isn't that a problem? Like, why would he be there collecting another man's stuff at all?
I assure you, I would expect even if the man tried to make a gift of such things to me.
You know, that does make sense, rather a lot of sense.
It's not as if it was gold or jewels, is it? Though goodness knows Mr. Gilded was rich enough.
But you can't deposit cash upon brokery.
Prosecution's argument is undeniably compelling.
It is incumbent on the defense now to bolster its argument. Dude, enough with the glasses. To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles pawned by this fine citizen could have. Yeah, can we just play the music disc, please?
Counsel, argument of fact demonstrable. Are you able to show proof that the disc or the box are in any tangible way related to this case?
Well, yeah, the blood on the blood on one of them belongs to the victim in the McGilded case, right?
Yeah.
Well,
What's the matter, Runo? We know that they're related, don't we? They both vital pieces of evidence.
yes, of course. You and I both know that. We know McGilded's true character. We know the disc is significant, even if we don't know why. If we explain all that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that McGilded's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake. That the defense's argument was flawed. Based on false information. That would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury.
Gina!
Could it be the Vanzig knows? Is that why he's doing this now? Because he anticipated everything?
But maybe this could be a great opportunity for us.
Sorry, what do you mean, Iris?
Well, what is it you always say, Bruno? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time.
Has he said that before?
Yeah. Alright, the exact significance of the things that McGilded deposited with Mr. Windibank. Something that only Gina can explain to the court. Yeah, because they were evidence in that trial. Okay. Well, I put her on the stand to testify about that. could greatly damage our chances of winning this case. It's the right thing to do here. It's definitely never testify. It's always do the thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal.
Oh, what's your proposal, counsel?
While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGilden's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand.
The defendant?
But what I don't know is why Graydon would care about this evidence that convicts McGilden.
What hint?
Unless he's somehow implicated with McGilden and other crimes.
Yeah. It's to do with the various articles deposited at Windibanks by Mr. McGilden, my lord. Mr. Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all. Well, things are becoming interesting. I presume you've considered the implications of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it will have on the accused standing, and indeed your own. I have.
Lord Van Siegs, would you care to explain that last remark?
The prosecution accepts the defense's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself.
Very well, you have no objection. So the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. No witness currently in the stand may step down until further notice.
So you can take his hat back?
Then I shall bid you good day. No, but like they still did the animation
Yeah.
as if he had the hat.
Yeah. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies.
As you wish.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, Van Zieks is like just totally on our side for real. Like he's just trying to get out. He's trying to get to the conspiracy or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, then, Gina, it's time. I know this will be hard, but please put your faith in me here.
Bruno.
The articles that Mr. McGilden had deposited in Windibanks Pawnbrokery. Do we not have a chance to like let her know what's happening? Like, she's gonna be defensive and lie, and then we're gonna have to prove it against her, right? First.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying. We could just tell her, hey, I know it sucks, but like, they'll get you out of murder. So, are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago.
Yes, I remember this young lady being brought before me in the trial as well.
Yeah, there's only one judge in London. There's like a set of like 10 jurors that they cycle between. That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilden. The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now here we all are again. It's the same players in that trial, facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nipponese friend. Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in an omnibus running along London's winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilden, and also the girl, we established. And naturally, he was the prime suspect for the murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. The murder, in fact, took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck. The body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. How are you going to do that from inside the seat? Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Miss McGilda died in this very courtroom in the most extraordinary of circumstances. A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on, as indeed does the omnibus murder itself.
Be that as it may, I recall neither the disc nor the small box being mentioned in the course of those proceedings.
Miss Lestrade, would you tell the court now, please? What really happened in the omnibus trial 2 months ago, I mean? I don't know what you mean. I'm gonna be stubborn to pad out the time.
Yeah.
I already said all what I know. And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade, this is extremely important. But remember, little girl, if it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Also, let's face facts. You have little credibility to lose. What a dick.
Tina, don't listen to him. Please, you have to trust Rudo now.
Iris!
We're on your side.
Alright then. I'll talk. It's the right choice, Gina. Well, it would seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down around his ears. So be it.
I must confess that I'm struggling to understand what's on earth is happening here. How would it appear that Mr. McGurden pawned articles in that extraordinary case of the omnibus? Harbor secrets of which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Miss Lestrade, you now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You reveal the truth, a commodity sorely lacking in your original statements.
This is it then. Everything's going to come out. Like Benzik said. This could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears. But as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk. Witness testimony. The real truth of the omnibus case. Truth is that Brickmaker Cove was in the cabin in the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from over me head, and that pair on the roof deck went off to call the slops. That's when McGilda slipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what I'd seen and heard. That didn't really help us.
Good grief, this is outrageous. What you've just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago.
As you say, my lord.
Then there's every chance I may have adjudicated an error in McGilden's trial. It sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived this court in an effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes.
Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in that trial of this witness and my learned friend are entirely inexcusable. I don't believe it. The whole trial was a farce. It was all lies. Don't forget that a lawyer from the east.
Lawyer from the east.
You're wrong, the Ladia, Mr. Nerodo, the lawyer there, he didn't know nothing about it.
Humbug! I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that?
He really stitched everyone up, didn't he? What an operation to get the man off scot-free. Unforgivable, stop. The lies have to stop. Stop. Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, what... He's the only one who didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
He did his job. Like, he didn't... Like... I think... Even if the defense... I don't know, like... If the defense lawyer knows that their client did it, like, it's still their responsibility to defend them, right? Like...
Yes.
Yeah. It's imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony. Because the true significance of McGillicuddy's Pond articles must be brought to light. Very well, my learned student friend. Oh. Given the depths of calamity you have just plunged yourself into, this may well be worth hearing.
Words fail me, the situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo,
Yes, my lord.
I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial.
Of course, my lord. Blimey, Mr. Naruhodo.
Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
It's not cross-examination if it's our own witness, though, right?
No, that you can cross-examine her.
No, it's just examine. It's like it's cross-examination if the prosecution was doing this, right? Like because it's our witness.
Well, I think cross-examination means is that like both parties are examining.
Okay, I thought it was like examination is when they question their own witness, and cross-examination is when they a redirect is a response to cross. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I think Jake has it right. And Jake says if you know they did it and your defense is they didn't do it, you can be disbarred. I had no idea. But like, can you do the same? Like, rather than just say like, rather than have the lawyer just say they didn't do it, can you just like attack the evidence?
Yes,
and just say like,
that's typically what's done.
Yeah, just like you don't have to like, but like what you really mean, what you're trying to communicate is that your client didn't do it. But if you just attack all of the evidence, then you can still defend a guy that you know is guilty.
Well, see, and that's the thing is that like often, at least like my assumption would be, and like how TV and movie, which obviously is not the arbiter of reality, tends to paint these kinds of situations, is that like if it's possible the defendant did it, like the attorney doesn't want the defendant to tell them if they did, or like doesn't want them to be honest. Because then they have to ultimately admit that the defendant did commit the crime. But I think often how it goes though, like you could look at like the O.J. Simpson trial. It's like a good example of this, where basically they like everybody knows O.J. did it, but like his lawyers did a really good job of using the legal system against itself. So like constantly attacking the evidence, how the evidence was gathered, attacking the investigation. Like why things occurred the way they did, basically pointing so many holes through it that there is a ounce of doubt, and if there is doubt, you can't convict.
Jake says,
or reasonable doubt, you can't convict.
Jake says, In principle, what you would do is plead guilty.
Yes. In reality,
Yeah.
that often doesn't happen.
So I think what really important is the pawnbroking part.
Yeah.
Or the disc. Okay, we can talk about the disc because it's here.
Hold it.
And then we stop to the pawnbroker. Was the disc you saw this disc? Yeah, I reckon it probably was. Just right next to the cove lying on the floor.
Would the disc have belonged to the victim, perhaps?
They better tell us what's on this fucking disc. Like, I just, what could possibly be on a music disc? I don't know, but McGilda picked it up pretty smartish. And then he sat the cove with a knife in his belly up on the seat. What did he say to you at the time? He told me not to say a word about what I'd seen or heard to no one. About the disc and all. I was dead scared. The way he was looking at me, I thought, if I didn't go along with it, I'd get stuck with that knife too. Then he started asking me a lot of questions. Like what my name was and where I lived tonight. He asked me about being a diver too. But after a while, what had happened in the carriage was noticed. Yeah, that's right. First there was a kind of rapping noise. Weren't there 3 people on the roof? Oh, it was the driver, the Australian guy, and the hat dude.
Hold it.
At pawn shop, obviously being Windibanks on Baker Street.
Just a moment, counsel. Do you mean to tell me that the driver gave false testimony in the trial as well?
Perhaps the excursion to the pawnbroker slipped his mind when he was in the stand.
Indeed, Lord Van Zeeks.
McGilda took off his coat and gave it to the driver. He folded it up all careful-like before handing it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat and what's in it's got to be worth a few bob. Yes, she was sure the disc must be worth more than Mr. Windibank was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember her quibbling with him over the price that afternoon at the pawnbrokery. The driver looked pretty happy when McGilda flashed some brass in his face. He went running off at a lick. And the bog trotter called to me and told me to come out from the drag's cabin. I thought there'd be more to that. All right.
Hold it.
So if this doesn't work, this one doesn't work. We're supposed to press the first one. I think. Threatened you how exactly? Told me I'd only be able to scarp her if I did exactly what he said, which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago. Yeah, that's it. And there was one other thing he said, which was he told me I'd have to hang on to the ticket from the pawn shop and make sure not to lose it.
The ticket? Well, I never.
Said if I didn't show up to get the ticket off me, said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months passed, I had to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it in lug, to stop it being forfeited. He left me with some brass to pay for it.
But really? Why on earth would Mr. McKinnon have done such a thing? Deposited his overcoat with a pawnbroker before the arrival of the police. It makes no sense at all.
There seemed to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What McGilda had the driver deposit Windibanks was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide at all costs.
Oh?
Anyway, after that, he let me go, so I did before the coppers showed up. Well done, Gina. It can't have been easy to tell the truth like that.
Jeez, really put her faith in you, Rudo.
Yes, and to thank her, she'll have to face a charge of perjury once this trial's over. So I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible.
It's time to really go for it. Press her on every statement.
Oh, alright, here we go. I suppose I should.
And another thing.
What's that?
Take a look at those two. Isn't it strange that they've been whispering to each other the entire time?
Yes, that is strange. It looks like they're having a secret discussion about something. Not sure I'm completely comfortable with that. Wonder if there's anything I can do about it. That's funny because, like, I noticed that he was looking away. I didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
Hold it!
You were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats. Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all. Like, should I just be like, hey guys, what's up?
I guess.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Graydon? Yeah, okay. I like that we finally got to just, like, it finally didn't just, like, have a big sound and then exclamation point over them. Like, we had to actually notice. I mean, like, the game still told us, but, like, we had to actually go through and, like, be like, should I just interrupt them? Inspector, Mr. Grayson.
What? Blimey! You tried to give me a heart attack.
You've been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what is this discussion about?
Discussion with this fella. Pull the other one, sunshine. You think I've got anything to talk about with this shady jet like this? And I have nothing to say in this uncouth detective after he deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine.
Is Gregson gonna try out to be like a dirty cop? Oh my god. They've clearly been talking the entire time I've been cross-examining Gina. It's as if they've been negotiating.
You will kindly refrain from talking amongst yourselves while the witness is giving testimony.
Sorry, my lord.
What were those two talking about?
Miss Lestrade, continue with your testimony, please.
Is it gonna be now that they'll have some reaction to something? Okay, so we did finish this. So we'll go back to where we were before. I think it was here. Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all.
Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, I feel certain that you claimed McGilden was the sole passenger, did you not?
False testimony, my lord. That's what he told me I had to say. But it's important that you tell us the truth and now. Were Mr. McGilden and the victim acquaintances? I don't know. But I did hear him talking a lot. But what were they talking about? Well, I couldn't hear too well, but if I had to say, I think it was about money or something. They kept talking about buying and not buying.
Perhaps business dealings of some kind?
Perhaps stonks, my lord. Well, anyway, they got louder and louder. It started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I hardly dared to breathe, and then all of a sudden, I had a noise like someone keeling over on the floor. It was blooming loud and all.
And I believe you let out an involuntary scream.
Yeah, that's what gave me away.
Hold it!
We've already talked to this. I just want to see if the other two respond to it. Yeah, I mean, it must be that they have some reaction to something else, because otherwise, like, the whole thing about getting them to stop talking wouldn't have mattered. So we'll just go press everything again.
Hold it!
I think this one we've not pressed yet. There were two gentlemen occupying the seats on the root deck, I believe. That's right. They must have looked down through the skylight and noticed the cove with the knife in his guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled up the horses and McGilda got me out of sight.
Out of sight where?
Back under the seat when I started off. Once the carriage came to an halt, the two cubs from the roof ran out to fetch the slops. If they immediately left to fetch the police, it would appear they were entirely unrelated to the incident. So that left McGilda, the driver, and you still at the scene. Yeah, only the driver didn't know I was there because I was under the seat. I heard the cabin door open and a voice from outside.
The driver, yes. He also testified in the trial, I believe. A fellow who went by the name Beppo, if memory serves.
What did McGilda and the driver say to each other? I don't know what happened and stuff like that, mainly.
Thank you, Miss Lestrade. Thank you, counsel. I've heard enough.
Okay, press everything.
I believe we have a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired on the omnibus.
What was the point of their conversation?
Yeah, I don't know.
It appears on that night 2 months ago, a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. A negotiation concerning this disc. However, matters did not run smoothly. Did he kill the guy for... What is... I know I keep going on about this, but what is on this disc?
Yeah.
When the parties involved began to a quarrel over price, McGilda took what he wanted by force, at the expense of the other man's life. Which proves my point that the disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way. Though I don't understand why as yet. And 2 days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident, McGilda's coat and its contents were due to be forfeited. I didn't know what I should do with the ticket. I mean, the cove died right after his trial. I knew that. So you decided you would try to claim the articles as your own. Well, why not, eh? They're only going to be forfeited. Why shouldn't I have got them? Anyway, you can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking ain't no crime.
Miss Lestrade, it would appear Mr. McGill was prepared to kill in order to take possession of the disc. And thinking is crime. Do you know why that would be?
Hey, I ain't got a clue. But I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. He was probably going to sell it. And you can't blame me for thinking that. Thinking ain't no crime.
My lord!
Oh,
I think it's the bailiff with the... yeah. The evidence your lordship requested has been located and is ready for the court's inspection, sir. Dun, 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 dun. What if it's like a jack-in-the-box or something really stupid? Oh, it could be... It's a music box. And we're gonna finally play this fucking disc. Please. Please? The mysterious little box deposited by McGilda 2 months ago. There's no doubt in my mind that it's a key piece in this far-reaching puzzle. To be continued. So we have like 12 minutes left on the timer. Are you good to keep going? Is your video done, or are you still stuck there?
yes. It finished rendering at like 8:30 your time.
Okay. But are you good to go for the next 10 to 12 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the article in question, is it? A small box deposited with the pawnbroker, by which Mr. McGill 2 months ago.
And on the night of Mr. Winnebank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop.
Quick, let's open it and see what's inside.
Yes! It's a music box! Let's play the disc, baby!
Oh, precious, this is no ordinary box, it seems.
Wow. Although, in truth, I had an inkling that might be the case. It appears that the box houses a miniature music box movement. A box movement? What?
Then it's too much to expect.
I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is a device for the playback of this disc, my lord. Dude, what? Is it just... like, imagine they play, and it's just like this little, like, ding, 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 ding. Like, what?
It's gonna be do 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 do.
So here we have the means to play back Mr. McGilden's disc, deposited and Windibanks at much the same time.
Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGilda's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus.
But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that the brickmaker was trying to sell this music box disc to Mr. McGilden?
I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord.
Finally.
Please.
Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at least. At best.
Oh.
Wait, my lord! Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector? The music box and disc are rather unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music.
They were better black than that, dude. This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened. This prosecution has no objection.
No! That piece of evidence is police property now. You can't.
All the evidence is police property. Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here, but it is policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening.
I'm in charge here. Not anymore, you're not.
No further delays, please play the disc.
Do you feel in charge? Take the note off of it, it's gonna fuck it up. What is it?
It's Morse code.
Oh, it's Morse code. That's why the woman has Morse. Oh, okay, I didn't even think of Morse code. Okay, fair enough.
What on earth? That's certainly not what I would call music.
No, it's just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence.
Ha 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 ha.
Mr. Graydon?
Oh, dude, at least make us prove that it's Morse code first. Don't freak out.
This really is priceless.
Yeah, I agree with Jake. This is a jam. I'll make a TikTok to this.
Oh God! I bet we can find some ridiculous. Yeah, we'll just dance like him to it.
Yeah.
After all that, the music box is broken.
Broken? It can't be, can it? I really like the part where it went ding ding ding. I really felt it. So maybe it's Graydon got the music box and he didn't understand that it was Morse code. He just knew that the disc was important. So he's about to be surprised too, I think.
Yeah. Well, obviously, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, no, he should know Morse code because he's a telegraph
Oh, true. Okay, yeah,
operator.
never mind. So he knows.
If the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom.
Well, I know with much regret. I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues.
Come on, juror number 5.
If it really was the same note, wouldn't that mean that like all of the bumps would be on the same like circle? Yeah.
Are you ready to move on, counsel?
Jake says, also, this all started because we thought he had been shot and he refused to take off his coat. We can inspect the box. Can I? No, I can't do that yet.
Yeah.
Come on. Yes, alright. It does sound as though it's completely broken, but... Is it? Does music emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue? Yeah. I believe that it could be relevant, my lord.
Good lord, but how can it be? It's an abomination, counsel, mere noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever.
Does sound strange, I agree. There's one thing bothering me. Graydon stands there chortling victoriously. Inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognizes the sound, as if he's familiar with it somehow. It's making him appear extremely on edge. If that is a stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, answer me this. Oh. Just what relevance do you propose this willful chiming has on this case? The defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not supposed to be music, right?
Yeah.
It's very avant-garde.
Yes.
Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music.
Uh-huh.
Look at that. The smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. I'm on the right lines here. I must be.
The introduction's based on how people react to what you say. You're acting just like Ernie, Bruno.
It goes back and Naruto's like hanging from the ceiling.
Oh my god.
Objection!
I'm really getting into character. The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music? Well, now that you've told us what they are not. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend. Surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of your ill-formed argument. Oh, excuse me.
Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness.
Got me. I don't know what the answer is. Yet. that face.
Oh, that face!
Oh, Bruno. I'm just examining the music box very thoroughly. And I'm fairly certain that it is not broken at all.
Alright, you heard it, Your Honor. It's definitely not broken. Really?
A child looked at it.
Yeah.
Really, the way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway.
Thank you, Iris. Do. Alright, well, if the music box isn't broken, must mean the sounds it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Let us say Morse code. Fuck. Ah! Could it be? Is that what these sounds are?
Something just struck me, Bruno.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to step away from the computer for like 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'll be right back. So I smelled something, and I thought it was smoke, and I was like, "Is my house burning down?" But no, I think my neighbors are just blazing it.
Oh. Huh.
Anyway,
I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like this one this music box makes.
yeah, it's a familiar sound. It's Morse code. Come on, John, figured it out already. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing.
I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all, then what the devil is it, Counsel?
All the evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard. It's all pointing to one single answer now. So the prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of his latest wild speculation. Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. If I'm right, it's going to join all the dots together. Yeah. Ash, my cat, is walking around and you see his nose. It's like, what the fuck is this? He smells the dank weed or whatever it is. They're like, he's like, what is going on? The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds of this music box disc is... do we have something about... Do we have anything about telegraph wires or Morse code or anything? Is it in the newspaper? Let's see. So this might be what it's related to. I don't know if this is the answer that they're looking for right now, because I think they're looking for Morse code, right?
Yeah, but we don't have anything on us, do we? That except for the newspaper or the disc itself.
But that would be not. That'd be weird.
It's got to be the newspaper.
Yeah. But I'm just not sure because it doesn't mention like Morse code or anything.
But like Gregson's being weird.
Yeah.
Take that!
Yeah, we got it.
It is paper, Counsel. The headline is Pawnbroker perishes in Pickford's plunder. Hardly supportive of your cause.
No, my lord. I was hoping I could look a little further down the page.
Further down. Ministry Mall classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes, this is a very serious matter, being investigated at the highest level, I understand.
I have heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. And presumably those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams. Of course. Juror number 5, your input, please. Finally. Stop. Oh, Amisa? Whatever is the matter? You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not? Yes, that's correct. And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports? Oh yes, we're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important. Then tell me, is this not a very familiar sound? You don't mean to say, is it That's right, madam. Bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code. But I don't believe it! Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets and Morse code?
Order! Please, everyone, order! But this is high treason, Council, deserving of capital punishment.
So, it's treason, then.
Do much new vocabulary. What is treason and what is capital? Oh, it's when you make person disappear.
Yeah.
Forever.
Sent to
from
Gulag.
photographs, from from publications. They just disappear. Never exist.
So, words I'd have expect you to know.
For sovereign governments, confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price.
Yes, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, Begilded perished, and the all-important disc lay unclaimed in the pawnbrokery.
My word.
In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country,
It would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death.
oh, so that's why he wanted the disc, because he was like the communications officer who recorded it or something. Okay. Or he wants to sell it to the spy, whoever they're spying with, for all the money.
Yeah.
So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. In order to do that, you'd have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGilded would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon?
You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous, absolutely preposterous.
So, in response to the defense's accusation, you can claim complete innocence, do you?
Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Only I get to call him pretentious.
Yeah. So by all means, counter the charges, sir. Didn't he literally say, like, no, it's the, like, he doesn't have to present evidence? Right?
Yup.
Like,
Ah,
the prosecution demands the witness testifies in response to the accusations brought by the defense.
delighted, I'm sure.
Okay, I think we're going to save right here, then do the testimony next time.
Okay.
The witness is reminded of the crime under scrutiny in the trial as the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Whitby. That being a most litigious offence for which the law of the land sanctions a capital punishment. But the heinous act of high treason is no less a serious crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Creed. So then, let us proceed, you may.
You gotta let us have a rabbit and pork here, Governor. We got things to say. Jake says there's probably about 2 hours left, which would be nice because that'll be another episode.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. Who do you think you are?
Name's Dash Skulkin. Occupation is professional baddie.
Now we go skulking, but we ain't baddies enough to sell our motherland.
That's right. We're what they call the Three Skulkin
Skulkin
Brothers. Gregson is so done with this shit.
Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing.
Okay, we'll stay here. Alright, well that was exciting. Things are happening. We still haven't dealt with the woman from the start of the game.
No.
I'm worried, based on what Jake has said, that there's not going to be a satisfying conclusion to this game. It's going to be like, alright, we're done. Just stop.
You don't say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, are you going to be good for Wednesday?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Alright, well, we'll do Wednesday then.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.